we need to talk about Jeffree Star. We need to talk about Jeffree Star right now. We need to talk about Jeffree Star and Ethan Rhett, who, if you guys do not remember, is one of James Charles's victims. We need to talk about the situation right now. So that's what we're going to do, because this is beyond drama, in my opinion. This is kind of serious. You know, when Jeffree Star has been so outspoken against, about, like, James Charles being a predator, and now he's hooking up with one of his victims, who's only like 20 when he's like 40. We're going to get into this. But yeah, welcome back to the channel. July has been a bit of a dry month in terms of drama, hasn't it? I know we've been trying to keep up with Danielle Walter of it all. And then obviously in June, we had the Joshua David Evans of it all pretty much every day. So we were able to keep it moving. But July has been a bit dry. So I'm glad that we at least have something important to talk about. As I say, this kind of goes beyond drama a little bit, and I have a lot of thoughts about what's going on, so we're going to get into this. But before we do, I just want to say, I know a lot of you guys in my videos often ask about my makeup, how I do my makeup. You always say your makeup looks really nice, which I always really appreciate. I just want to let you guys know that I actually dropped a makeup tutorial on this channel. It'll probably be like a couple of days ago now when I upload this, I think. So if you guys are unaware that I did that, go over and watch that video. It's also sponsored by Balessa, and you know, I put a lot of work into it. I did it for you guys, so I'd really appreciate if you go and support that video, because not only does it show the support to my channel and, you know, gives you all the tips and tricks of what I do with my makeup, but it also shows the brand that I'm worth working with, and, you know, it's all a fun time. So yeah, I would really appreciate you guys going over and showing that video some love, because it's struggling a little bit at the moment, I will not lie to you. But yeah, so Jeffree Star, let's get into Jeffree Star, shall we? Okay, so Jeffree Star, as we've known for a long time now, is a bit of a freak, okay? When it comes to his sex life and his romantic ventures, he is very open. He's very open, okay? I mean, this is coming off the back of his, 2014 to 2019 relationship with Nate, as I'm sure we all remember. They were in, like, quite a steady and healthy, as far as it seemed, relationship. You know, they had the dogs together, they had the big Calabasas mansion. Right before they broke up, they bought that new place. Actually, was it 2020 that they broke up? I feel like it was 2020, because it was like around it was like for around the pandemic, like first lockdown, because they just bought that big place, and then lockdown hit, they broke up. He sold the mansion and then moved to Wyoming, and it was all a pandemic move. But yeah, Nate was in all of the Shane Dawson documentaries. You know, all of this was very public. You know, he was very happy. It seemed there was actually at one point in one of, I think it's the first episode of the Conspiracy Palette series, where Jeffree is specifically asking Shane, like, are we getting married to our significant others? Like, kind of makes a joke about doing, like, joint weddings and stuff, because obviously Shane was planning on proposing to Rylan, which obviously then he does. We've seen the series, we know what happens, and the revisit series of that is coming on this channel, by the way. Eventually, I will do it in the next couple of months. But yeah, so off the back of that breakup, I think Jeffree's kind of vowed to never really be in a relationship properly again, and since then we've had a litany of sports people. You know, he literally says in the video that we're about to watch that, I think it's in that clip, but he's been doing a lot of, like, TikTok lives, as we know. He is now the queen of TikTok, but you know, he literally brags about, you know, he's been with celebrities and baseball players and basically people from every single sport essentially, and he's always kind of bragged about his sex life and stuff, and like hooking up. There was that whole thing about, like, has he had sex with Kanye West or something at one point. Do you guys remember that? So, you know, he's been very open about his sex life, sexuality, all of that stuff, right? So, in a way, this comes as no surprise. But obviously, Ethan Rhett, who, you know, we've been talking about not that long ago, was a victim of James Charles when he was 14. He was one of the people that James Charles groomed on Snapchat and was sending him like explicit photos and was trying to groom him into sending photos of himself, even though he was a minor. It's all out there, you know, of course everything is alleged, but James Charles has obviously admitted to messaging underage people and underage boys and doing all these things because I'm desperate. So like we all remember that, right? And Ethan came out not too long ago, now being 20 years old, and explained what happened. Like, he came forward again to explain a bit more about what happened. You know, he said how much it kind of affected him, how scummy James Charles is, and we all, you know, obviously we've been knowing this information, but what has shocked me is what has been happening over the past few days. Jeffree Star, obviously, as we've said, since he moved to Wyoming especially, he is no stranger to just inviting people over to Wyoming to hook up, essentially. Like, the ranch is kind of, is just a place for him hooking up with people, and God knows what else he gets up in there. But Jeffree Star is 40 years old. Do you guys realise this? He's 40. He turned 40 last year. His birthday's in November, isn't it? He's a Scorpio. And Ethan Rhett is 20. Now, we're gonna watch a YouTube short from Dustin Daly that he uploaded. Oh, wrong one. That he uploaded a couple of days ago, where, I mean, the thumbnail alone is... what the hell? But we're going to react to this because I agree with what Dustin said on this, and I'm glad that he's been talking about this because this situation is insane. So yeah, let's get into this.
I know Jeffree Star has a lot of people afraid to say anything about him, so I'll be the one to do it. But I was scrolling, minding other people's business, and this video of Jeffree Star and Ethan Rhett came across my For You page.
Like, what the hell? Literally... Dustin's face is everything.
This is also the same Ethan Rhett that had all the allegations against James Charles that Jeffree Star actually called out.
Yep.
Ethan is 20 years old. Jeffree is 41 years old.
40,
okay? He was
but
21
still.
when Ethan was born in 2005.
Literally.
I really don't know what kind of weird shit Jeffree Star is trying to prove by doing this, or what he's trying to convey. It's just weird. Literally, like, this is a kid. He's a child. I don't care if he's 20 years old, Jeffree.
Literally.
This is bizarre.
I just want to pause it there because, yeah, this is one of my opinions that we're going to get into in a minute. That, yeah, you are not an adult until you're 24, 25. Pre that, especially when you're 20, you are still a kid. In my opinion, you are still basically a minor. You are not, you might, you know, the law and whatever might class you as an adult, but you are not an adult. You are not an adult. You are still a child. You are still, like, an older child or, like, a young adult, but, like, you are not mature enough to be doing this, and definitely not mature enough for older people, especially at Jeffree's age, to go after you. Like, that's not acceptable, but we'll get more into that in a minute.
Behavior from you, especially when you said shit like this on a live stream with him.
My throat,
Here we go.
relax for a second.
It's fucking disgusting.
I'm sorry.
Let my esophagus, like, say good morning to my chat.
I know, I was just so, like, excited.
Jeffree, you are literally pushing 50 years old, bud. It's time that you give up the little mean girl act, the little mean girl charade. I don't know why you're trying to get in on James Charles and all this shit that happened between him and Ethan Rhett, because that's what this is. You wouldn't even know who Ethan Rhett was if it wasn't for the shit that happened with James Charles.
That's true.
This is weird.
I agree.
This is very fucking weird.
Yep.
I know Jeffree Star
Exactly.
has a lot.
And yeah, it is incredibly weird. Now, let me speak on this. In terms of, obviously, age gap relationships. So I watched Dustin Daly's, like, full video where he talked about this as well. And, you know, I might try and find the clip that's even more disgusting in a minute, where Jeffree Star is literally talking about Ethan Rhett's, like, size, because I feel like it's important that we watch this just to emphasize how fucking weird this is. But in terms of age gap relationships, here's my opinion. I mean, I already established that you are not an adult until you're at least 24, 25. And hell, like, my boyfriend, who I've talked about a few times on here, he's 35. I'm 25. I was born in 2000, and my boyfriend is 35. He was born in 91, right? There's like 9 years and 10 months or something between us. And some people might frown on that. Some people might frown on that. I mean, when we dated the first time round, because this isn't the first time we've dated, when we dated the first time round in 2024, he was 33, I was 23. Same difference. Now, I've always gone for people slightly older. He's the oldest I've ever really dated, and ever been in a relationship with. And I can say that from a place of, I just relate to millennials more from a place of emotional maturity. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, that goes beyond, like, just romantic relationships as well. Like, I just tend to get on with millennials better just as friends anyway. But I've always found it incredibly strange and weird that, like, for instance, when I was in sixth form, like, there were people, like, when I was like 17, who were getting with people who were like 23. That's weird. That is weird. I mean, I have a couple of cases like that in my real life where I've seen people do that. I mean, granted, they're married now and, you know, they've got their houses together and all this stuff, but I do not believe that a 23-year-old should be going after a 17-year-old. That's weird. That is weird. Now, I'm in the UK, so the age of consent is 16 here. I don't believe that. I don't really believe that that's right. I believe that the age of consent in America is more correct, which is 18. I don't believe you should be making those kind of decisions at 16. I know I certainly didn't want to be. You know, I think I've always kind of believed that ever since I even was 16. And that still stands, because in my opinion, you're not even beginning to become an adult to make those kind of decisions until you are 18. Until you are 18, you are not developed enough brain-wise to be making those decisions. And again, when it comes to age gap relationships, sure, you can have obviously within reason. I don't believe that, like, these 20-year age gaps are really a big thing. I see like an absolute limit, like, and even then it's pushing it to be like 15 years. That's my absolute, like, and even then, as I say, like, the reasonable age gap, like, minimum limit is like 10 years. If you really want to push it, again, like, the absolute, like, danger zone limit is 15 years, in my opinion. And even then, they both need to be grown-ass adults. You cannot be preying on, basically, children, and I believe that's exactly what Jeffree Star is doing here. Now, is this, you know, because, again, I don't believe that Ethan is a full adult. Yeah, he might look like one. Hell, he looks more mature than 20. Sure, right? Would we ID him if we were in a place to be IDing people? Listen, I don't know, okay? But at the same time, that doesn't make him any less of basically still a child, because he's only 20 and Jeffree Star is 40 years old. Now, Dustin did say a very interesting point and a very important point in his full video that he made about this, which was basically like, in the gay community, this can be overlooked quite a lot. Obviously, Dustin being gay himself, it was very important and very interesting that he actually made this point, because I was going to make this point anyway, in that, yeah, like, if this was a man just preying on a girl who was like 20 years, if a 40-year-old man preying on a 20-year-old girl, there would be problems. There would be so much backlash that we would be crazy. And I would agree with that, because that's not right. Because, again, you're not an adult until you're like 25. You know, frontal lobe has to have been fully developed in order for this to be okay and make sense, right? And, you know, because that's a 20-year age gap. Like, 20 years. Crazy. Not okay and crazy. Right? And again, in the gay community, this can be overlooked quite a lot. I know age gap relationships are very common in the gay community, and hey, we don't judge, but at the same time, a 20-year age gap is a 20-year age gap, regardless of your sexuality. Point blank period. Okay? Jeffree, I don't know what kind of point he's trying to make with this, other than just kind of being gross. Whether he's kind of coming across as being like, I don't even know, like, stealing James Charles's man, but, like, he's been so outspoken against James Charles. He's the one who allegedly was behind Bi Sister. him and Shane Dawson were the ones allegedly like pushing Tati to make by sister. She literally talked about that in the Breaking My Silence video, which we haven't reacted to yet. We will do eventually, pretty soon, because it was a moment in time. But for somebody who's been so outspoken, and again, he has literally called him a predator on multiple platforms and multiple formats, okay? Whether it's been on his own TikTok live, whether it's been on YouTube, whether it's been on people's podcasts, like, he's said it so many times. To then basically be doing what, in my opinion, isn't much better in a similar vein, just with people being, I guess, legal, just because they're legal, no. Right? And this is another point that Dustin made. You know, people who wait for people to be legal, they have their eyes on them when they're a minor, and then they're waiting for them to be legal to get with them. That is still predatory behavior. Point blank, period. Okay? Now, I'm gonna see if I can try and find the more recent clip from somebody's video where they're on TikTok live, and he's basically like, again, talking about intimate details about Ethan, and some of the suggestion, like the things that they're doing in there is very suggestive, and I'm gonna see if I can find it, because again, this is a very, very important point to be making. Okay, I found the clip in Dustin Daly's video where he talks about this, so we're gonna react to it. There's a little bit before that where he makes just a good point, but then he does actually show the clip, so here we go.
Even do this. Why would he try to get in on James Charles with Ethan Rhett all these years later?
It's weird.
It's absolutely vile. It's disgusting, and
I agree.
It's gross.
Yeah.
What's getting in the way?
I've been I'm back now. I'm good.
But what?
You know I've been busy. I told you I've been busy.
But with what though? A female?
That right there gets me every time. What, a female? As somebody who has outrightly said that, yeah, like, I mean, he said, obviously, like, he's a man. He's basically just a man in drag all the time. But why is he jealous if Ethan's, like, bi or something? But what Ethan says next is just so fucking disgusting.
You're the only big mama in my life.
Pause to vomit. What the I cringe at that every time I listen to it, every time I've seen this clip over the past couple of days, because it's just like, what in the hell is going on? Just no. Absolutely, just no.
I've been fucking getting shoots together and shit.
Getting shoots together. What does that mean? He's a model now? Is he a model? I don't know.
Why are you looking at me like that? Yo, you
Jeffree's
a freak.
face.
You a freak.
The fucking music, man. Jesus fucking Christ. But it's Jeffree's look. He's got the look of just like, it's got the predatory look. I know he's trying to be all like sexy and seductive or whatever, but it's predatory. It's predatory. It just is predatory. That's fucking gross.
Uh-huh.
Oh. But yeah, no, I'm back.
All right, I'm ready.
Oh my god, this bit. This is what I meant by the suggestive shit. It's weird. Dustin's face as well.
Oh.
What? Just why? Just why? It makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Why is Jeffree doing this? Ethan is 20. He's like simulating fucking oral sex on a TikTok live. Like, what are we doing?
Oh.
Not the wipe of the mouth, please.
All right, we'll call your sister, figure it out, and we'll see you Saturday.
Okay, all right.
Okay, miss you, bye.
Let me.
You guys, it's so big.
You know what I told you guys? This is it. This is fucking it. The way he immediately jumps into, you guys, it's so big. It's so vile. What the hell?
Just know that. It's a fucking hammer. Yeah, I was honestly a little shocked.
I've never heard anyone describe a dick as a hammer, by the way. hammer? How is it a hammer? I don't even want to know.
He is half black though, so I'm not surprised. His dad's black. All right, you guys, everyone double tap the screen. Oh, it's a fucking hammer.
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is 2026? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? Jeffree, the hell? What the hell?
It is, yeah. He's been to my house before. Clearly, he just showed you the TikTok, so I feel comfortable saying it. Normally, my mouth is sealed. Okay, NFL NBA.
To be fair, that's true. Also using the fucking lip balm from that fuck-ass new collection that's meant to be like heavy metal, but it's like so not heavy metal. It's crazy. Have you guys seen this? I don't know what's going on with Jeffree Star cosmetics these days, but it's just not hitting the same at all.
Air soccer, hockey, golf. I've sucked every sport, Miss Thing. Y'all want to take it to the opening of the fucking golf tournament?
But of course, you guys, I want to know what you all think about this.
Right. So that was that. I want to know you guys' thoughts in the comments about this. What do you think about age gap relationships? What do you think about this? I believe this is just full on him being predatory, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I want to know what you guys think. It's vile. It's disgusting, right? Like, that last clip, I swear to God, so many moments where it's just like, what world? What world are we living in? And again, just to remind you all, this is the man who was so outspoken about James Charles and James Charles's behavior and it being so disgusting, and now is doing this shit. But anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel as always if you've not already. Again, if you want to know about the makeup side of things, I have uploaded a makeup tutorial on my channel which deep dives into all my tips, tricks, products I use, everything else, because I know you guys are always really curious about that. And again, that video is sponsored, so go show it some love. It's sponsored by Balessa as well, so you guys can enter the little giveaway link that I have on there. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.